Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem HaRachakodash. Double honors be unto the apostles and elders at Great Millstone who rule well and taught us this 100% truth. Much peace and blessings be unto you, hopefully who like that push not this word of thought, truth, and sincerity. To all you Akim say Shalom. I'm the Akira. I'm from the servants of Yahweh Yahushai Camp, coming in with the quick lesson going into our POWs, prisoners of war. Alright, now that's basically all we are. Because if you can receive it, we're the most highly advanced elite military in on the earth in existence. Alright, and right now the spiritual military. The Apostle Ralph did a lesson on that, going into what it means to be a soldier, which that word soldier goes back to the word solitaire, and solitary confinement is when you're confined in isolation, and because we're really alone. All right, solitary really means alone. We're all alone in this thing, regardless if you have Akim with you and you guys are going through the same things. We're just going to how no temptation has taken you but such as coming to man, but even then it's really just you mentally fighting these thoughts, man. But digressing back, we're in captivity, so given that fact, we can't war right now. We have no authority, all right? And that's why Yahushai and the host of heaven, which are the military, in the heavens, they're going to come down here, wage war against Esau and the rest of the nations, and deliver us. It's basically a search and rescue mission. Enough of my rambling. I want to clarify that this is originally supposed to be a camp lesson, and I typically hold camp at Sundays, but the weather, was acting up. It was blowing pretty hard, because it's almost winter. So Lord, will I get, be able to go out to camp soon, and for the sake of time, I'm just going to do this lesson right now. Starting off at verse Job, the 19th chapter, verse 25, and it says, "For I know that my Redeemer liveth, and that he shall stand at the latter day upon the earth." And that Redeemer is talking about Yahushai. And to prove that, we're just going to how the Lord redeemed us, man. Because that word redeem, really means to buy back, ransom, recover, by purchase, and in a theological sense, deliver from sin and spiritual death. And Yahushai did that through his death. He was that great sacrifice that brought us back up to the Father. You can receive it. But also, Redeemer, another definition means one who redeems, answers or atones for another's or other, and that's Yahushai. And eventually, in these coming times, Yahushai is going to deliver us physically this time, So that's why it says, "For I know that my Redeemer liveth," because he's eternal, he's immortal right now. His last death was as Yahushai in the physical, in this physical flesh. All right, that was the last time he ever died. And it goes on to say, "And that he shall stand at the latter day," latter meaning later, latter day upon the earth. "And though after my skin one destroy this body, yet in my flesh shall I see Yahweh." All right, shall I see power? And that's right, because you look at the Akim, they have been in this thing for years on out, man. The apostles, the elders before them, the elders below the apostles. The Akim have been in this thing 10, 15 years, so on and so forth. The Akim, they all age. We all age, and that's the thing. We're all in a death sentence, if you will. We're born, and from the moment we come out of the womb, we're slowly dying. You can receive it. That's why it says, "I know after my skin worms destroy this body, yet in my flesh shall I see Yahweh." Yeah, because although, he was physically, ill, if you will, he was really prophesying. He was really prophesying about the latter times, so you can receive it. So it goes on to say, "Whom I shall see for myself, and mine eyes shall behold, and not another, though my reins be consumed within me." So we're all going to see Yahweh. We're all going to see Yahushai, on that big old chariot. But going back, I want to get out, the priestess I want to get out was in the book of 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter, verse 3. And it reads, actually, I'm going to start at verse 1. "And it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And that man is talking about Yahushai. And the reason why he came out of the man is because the sea, why that man came out of the sea, it broke it down. Below here going into how no man, just like how no man has seen, the depths of the ocean. No man has seen the heavens earthly perfect. You see right there, somewhere around here in this chapter. But going back, verse 3, it says, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And the thousands of heaven are the angels, because there aren't just 7 angels. All right, there's thousands. When it goes into that word, that number 7, it really means complete. Meaning many. So when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth filleth the fire. All right, so if I want to get the book of Revelation, the 1st chapter, verse 7. And it reads, behold, he cometh with clouds. And those clouds are talking about the chariot, so Yahushai, that man waxed strong with the thousands of angels. They're all in chariots. Yahushai's going to be on the big chariot, though. That's why it says, in every eye shall see him. Because you look at these chariot sightings, and not the whole world can see them. Only certain witnesses. But when Yahushai comes back, every eye shall see him. This chariot is going to be, bigger than the planet Earth. All right, and prove that cloud is a chariot, which they could with the high advanced technology that the Lord has, they could cloak themselves, and disguise themselves with a chariot. And that's in the book of Psalms. Prove that chariot is a cloud. That's in the book of Psalms 104th chapter, verse 3 reads, "Who laid the beams of his chambers in the waters, will make it the clouds his chariot." Will make it the clouds his chariot. And you got something else, a lenticular cloud. I always bring that out. A lenticular cloud is a UFO-shaped cloud, which is more like, definitely a chariot. But it goes on to say, behold, that he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him. And they also which pierced him. And they also which pierced him, proving reincarnation. The same spirits, those same Roman soldiers, that spit, beat Yahushai, mocked them by putting on that purple robe and the crown of thorns. Hailing him in a scornful way. All those same spirits, they're back here again in the military. You look at the chain of command, and who knows. And they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. And all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Kindred meaning family, a line, a nation, tribes. So all these nations, they're gonna see Yahushai. And that's why it says, not kindreds of the earth shall wail, meaning to fear and grieve because of Yahushai. Even so, amen. I've been telling you, Yahushai is a so-called black man. And when you finally see him, you guys are going to be astonished. You're going to be like, what the heck? He's actually black. Oh my God. Well, yeah. We've been telling you, man. But going back to 2nd Ezra's, the 13th chapter. Verse 4, it says, and whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth filled it when they filled the fire. And it's talking about the chariot lasers, so you can receive it, because you look into these movies, and when the chariot shoots their lasers, they blow up everything. Are you seen that in Judgment Day? When the big old beam in the center of the chariot, the city destroyer, that's what the chariot's called, the city destroyer. And that city destroyer, it wipes out entire freaking buildings, man. It knocked down a couple of skyscrapers. So, it goes on to say, and after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the 4 winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. But I beheld, it's like, I want to get a quick precept down in the book of 1 Thessalonians, the 4th chapter, verse 17. With that chariot laser, it went into how his mouth came out fire. That's in the book of 1 Thessalonians, the 4th chapter. Verse 16, it says, for the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout. That shout is that chariot laser, the voice of the archangel, with the trump of Yahweh, and the dead in the shall rise first. Yeah, because all the Akim that die in this thing, in this truth, or that passed away, completing their course, You know, they don't get to experience, you know, the last days. And we've all been prophesying about it for generations, man. I've been prophesying about the latter days. You know, it's a beautiful thing to experience, you know, this pearls. Or even Ezra said that, you know, it would be better to, you know, encounter these things and pass away. You know, so all of them, you know, they're not part of this climax. They're all in the spirit world, though. They know what's up. But, you know, they're gonna come back when Yahweh Shai comes back. They're gonna come back with them, you know, with them and the angels on chariots too. They're gonna be resurrected. Going back to 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter, verse 5. You know, going into how the multitude of men, they came out to subdue that man that came out of the sea. That's going into your militaries. All right, you got your space force, your air force. You know, other branches. You know that have fighter jets too. You know, and you know the rest of the heathen. You know, the heathen branches. All right, Russia got their arrow. You know, the arrow branch, whatever you call it. You know, their version of the air force. Are gonna come up against Yahweh Shai. And it goes on to say, but I beheld, and lo, he hath craved himself a great mountain, and flew up upon it. A great mountain. And when you're close to a mountain, hey, that thing is huge, man. You know, and he flew up upon it. Hey, you don't see a mountain, you know, floating around. All right, this ain't Pandora. All right, the only time you see a mountain is when it's fixed onto the ground. You know, this great man is talking about. It's talking about a big old chariot, man. Hey, because chariots fly. You know, they fly. You know, so going on with Revelation, for instance, you know, 1:7, every eye shall see him. He's gonna be on a great chariot. But I would have seen the region or place where out the hill was craven, but I could not see, because, you know, it wasn't connected to the ground. You know, it was a chariot. What we saw was really a chariot. And after this I beheld, and lo, they which were gathered together to subdue him were so afraid, and yet durst not carry them for the word there, they dared to fight. You know, military's got their own sayings about, you know, fighting for the country and whatnot. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held his sword, nor any instrument of war, but only I saw that issued out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. You know, so I'm only envisioning that, you know, it seems something like out of a cartoon, and it's gonna happen. And all they that were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, then fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. Afterwards saw I the same man come down from the mountain and call unto him another peaceable multitude. That peaceable multitude is the elect. Hey, so Yahweh is going to wage war against the heathen, you know, Esau, you know, to deliver us, you know, first and foremost Esau. And you know, he's gonna deliver us at the same time. So it's basically a search and rescue. Hey, they found us. Now he's gotta rescue us, man. You know, so they're doing a top covert, you know, if you will, mission. You know, but it's gonna be known. The whole world's gonna know it. So, you know, it's gonna be like a top covert mission, because it's gonna be you know, it's gonna be dangerous. If you will, it's gonna be something out of a movie. So another precept I wanted to get out. We're back in the book of 1 Thessalonians, the 4th chapter. The 4th chapter, verse 17. It says, "Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds." Yeah, because just like in during a war, prisoners of war die, if I'm not mistaken. So a lot of the Yakims, the squad prisoners of war in this thing, you know, a lot of them pass away. You know, they're all in the spirit world right now. That's why it says, "Then we which are alive," because not all of the elect that were born are gonna stay alive. The scriptures even wonder how Yahweh even made the mention, some of you shall not taste of death. Hey, but you're gonna have martyrs in this thing. So, you know, eventually when the persecution starts coming forth, Akim are gonna, you know, be taken away, and some of them are gonna have to die for this thing. You know. So it goes on to say, "Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds." clouds being chariots, to meet the Lord in the air, and so shall we ever be with the Lord. To meet the Lord in the air, and so shall we ever be with the Lord. See? Wherefore comfort one another with these words. Yeah, because it's a freaking horrible, state that we're in right now. It's a freaking nightmare. Every day we want the kingdom. The kingdom is our only solution. It's the only answer. It's the only hope we have left. It's like we got nothing to lose, man. Basically, if you will, we're gonna have nothing to lose eventually, because we're all gonna be pilgrims. The scripture's going to how we have to forsake a lot of these things. Have to forsake, mother, brother. We have to forsake our belongings. Hey, take Lot's wife for example. She turned back and she turned into a pillar of dust or a pillar of sun. She freaking, disappeared in there. So we're all gonna have nothing to lose in that time. So that's why the kingdom is our only solution. And the scripture's going to how lay up treasures in heaven, really paraphrasing right there. Going into the kingdom. Going on. I'm gonna get the book of Luke, the 12th chapter. So I could go back to 2nd Ezra. I want to finish it off. I want to get verse 13 now. I didn't finish it. Verse 13, it says, when it talked about the peaceable multitude, which is the elect, it goes on to say, and there came much people unto him, whereof some were glad. Hey, see? It's our hope. Hey, we want out. Whereof some are glad, some are sorry, and some of them were bound, and others some brought of them that were offered. Then was I sick through great fear, and I awaked, and said, thou shalt thy servant these wonders from thy beginning, as kind of be worthy that thou shouldst receive my prayer. So he basically got a snippet. He basically got a preview. Look, you go to the movie theater, and you're sitting before the movie, and you're looking at the previews of a movie that's gonna come, later on, in time. Hey, the prophet Esdras, he got a preview, man. Through visions. It's just a beautiful thing, because this is thousands of years ago. That was thousands of years ago. And he had a dream of something that will happen right now in these times. So that's beautiful. But I want to get out the book of Luke, the 22nd chapter, if I'm mistaken. Verse 27, it reads, Slovakia. That's the right chapter. I believe it was Luke 27. Luke 21. Actually, I must start at verse 26. It says, men's hearts failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. And prophecies are gonna shake people up, man. It's gonna be terrible. And they shall see the Son of Man come in the cloud with power and great glory. That big old chariot coming with power and great glory, because Yahweh is going to come back in his full-on glory and his full-on majesty. Alright, that was in the book of Isaiah, the 2nd chapter. Going into how he's going to come back in his full-on glory. That was in the book of Isaiah, the 2nd chapter, verse 10, it says, enter into the rock, which that rock is talking about your bunkers, and hide thee in the dust, for fear of the Lord and for the glory of his majesty. He's going to come back, terrible. It's just going to how I shall not make thee as a man. Alright, you look at a man, it's very frail and feeble. But Yahweh is going to come back, upgraded in that spiritual body. Gigantic. Terrible to look at. Fierce. Like a lion. When it's pissed off, look at a lion when it's pissed off, it's gonna tear, and that's how Yahweh is gonna be. He's gonna tear Esau apart. So Luke 21, 27, verse 28. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. Yeah, and we want a war, man. Hey, we want that switch up. But in this flesh, we ain't got no spiritual power yet. You know, we get weak and whatnot. And now we want a war, man. We can't even join the military. You know, some of the Yakim got that bloodlust, if you will. You know what I'm talking about. You know, that anger, want to get down. You know, we all got that. But right, you know, prisoners of war, they're disqualified from any activities. You know, indulging in combat. You know, you guys are basically, you know, in modern times, a prisoner of war that's in captivity. You know, they get fed, they get housed, right? But they're disqualified from fighting. You know, that's what we're, you know, that's what we struggle with. And we all want to fight, man. That's why when Yahweh Shai comes to deliver us with the host of heaven, and we get delivered, man, we're gonna finally get that power, that switch. We're finally gonna, you know, get down. All right, you know, so we're just going to how we're gonna have spiritual power, and we're gonna break down mountains. So it goes on to say, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. We have redemption going into being brought back to the Lord. Man, you know, it's almost winter. You know, the other night, you know, last night, I was laying on my bed in my blanket. I was rubbing my hands around the blanket, and it created sparks, and you could see the sparks. You know, my room was dark, it was pitch black, and you could see the sparks. All right, you know that, and my favorite spiritual power is lightning. You know, with the sound of thunder. You know, you get the loud bang whenever you strike, like Thor, the god of thunder. All right, I want that spiritual power, and you know, it got me motivated. It got me pumped up. You know, seeing those sparks, you know, come out of my hand, and you know, rubbing against the blanket. You know, that friction really created sparks. You know, it's a static charge. So that got me pumped up for that spiritual power. But digressing back, this is the book of Romans, the 13th chapter, verse 11. And it reads, and that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believed. The night is far spent. So like, for now is the salvation nearer than we believed. Yeah, because it's not going to be, you know, say 10 years or so. No, it's going to be now. All right, we believe it's going to be now, you know, very soon. That's all we could say. It's not a cliche. The other apostle Racha, he a while back, he even made the mention now, you know, saying, you know, the end is nigh. You know, we're almost out. It's not a cliche. It's gonna happen, and that's very true. That's very much true. But going on, says the night is far spent, the day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness, and let us put on the armor of light. Let us walk honestly as in the day, not in rioting and drunkenness, not in chambering and wantonness, not in strife and envy. Be on the Lord Yahweh Shai Mashiach, and make not provision for the flesh to fulfill the lusts thereof. And we're not supposed to, do that instant gratification and things of that sort, because they all pertain to the lusts of the flesh, man. All right, we got to discipline ourselves, man. And Yahweh Shai was disciplined. We have to follow Yahweh Shai. You know, we're all many Yahweh Shai, so we can receive it. And we're gonna be fully Yahweh Shai, you know, in those bodies. So because he was perfect, you know, but we're going off, so we'll be perfect in those spiritual bodies, and we'll be like Yahweh Shai. You know, but right now it's the thing about discipline. That means sacrificing your time. I told myself that first and foremost. Sacrificing your time for this thing. It being a living sacrifice, like the Apostle Paul made mention. He even made the mention, I die daily. You know. So that, you know, disciplining yourselves isn't, you know, rehearsing the righteous acts to the best of your ability. Going out to camp, you know, doing these lessons, things of that sort. As a matter of fact, I want to get it priested out, because when that day comes, you know, the only people that's gonna be confident, because there's a fine line between confidence and pride. You know, we're not gonna be proud, but we're gonna be confident. You know, in that day. All right, you know, a lot of these Hebrew Israelites can't say the same, right? Because they're not doing the works, they're not doing any of this stuff. They're not teaching. You guys just watch videos and hang around social media posting, you know, scriptures. It's not something we're supposed to do. We're not supposed to teach on social media and things of that sort. So I want to get the book of Proverbs, the 14th chapter, verse 26, if I'm not mistaken. Kind of says, in the fear of the Lord, fear meaning servitude. All right, and serving, doing what's commanded of you. That's what it means to serve. The powers they command us, Yahweh Shai, they command us, and we have to, we're obligated to do so. Although we're in that grace period, and we're not in the kingdom, we still have to, rehearse the righteous acts. And that's in the book of Judges, the 5th chapter, verse 11. But it goes on to saying that fear the Lord is strong confidence. Confidence, man. In that confidence, on that day, to say, at least we did the works, although it's not of the works, we're saved through grace, those works do help, man. You need a balance between the two, the works and the faith, right? Because you can't just do all the, that's what the Old Testament Israelites, do the works, they don't have faith, we're not, they're righteous, they think that they're perfect, but the Lord ain't gonna deal with those guys. They're gonna deal with clowns like you Christians and whatnot. They're all about faith, and then the Lord, He forgives me for everything I do. No, there's a fine line between the two, and we all gotta keep a balance of that. The works and the faith. But doing the works, it brings you confidence, man. We're all gonna be confident in that day, and His children shall have a place of refuge. Yeah, and His children shall have a place of refuge. I want to get the book of Ephesians, the 2nd chapter, verse 8. And then put the fact that's all of, it's all of, I'm going to bring it out. For by grace are you saved through faith, and then not of yourselves, it is a gift of Yahweh, not of works, as any man should boast. Yeah, lest any man should boast. When you boast, you're basically, what's that one word? You're being proud. The Lord's not going to deliver no proud clowns, man. Alright, the Lord's going to deliver His elect. And they're given the Spirit to do the works and have faith. Verse 10 says, for we are His workmanship, created in the anointing of Yahweh Shai, to good works which Yahweh hath before ordained that we should walk in them. And look at that word ordained, and it goes back to the definition would be predetermined. And predetermined is synonymous to the word predestinated. Yeah, because the Lord really chose us before the foundations of the earth. Just going into that. That's in the book of, this same chapter, right, or the 1st chapter. But going back, I want to get the book of Jeremiah, the 16th chapter, just to end it off. Verse 15, it says, but the Lord, verse 14, it says, therefore, behold, the day is come, saith the Lord, that it shall no more be said, the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. Yeah, because the deliverance out of Egypt, that there was a whole book about it, and the other books, to go to remind us what happened afterwards. We got delivered. As in Exodus, we walked out of Egypt. Then the sea parted, and we all walked through the sea. And the Lord had it to where the Pharaoh and the rest of the Egyptians, they came chasing us, and they all died in that freaking that sea, the Red Sea, if I'm not mistaken. And to this day, you still got images of the chariots from back in the ancient world. I see a power. Seeing remnants of little things, of our past, from thousands of years ago. That was a great deliverance that everybody in the known world knew it. That's why, in the 40 years of wilderness, when we were off the scene for a while, and during the times of our forefather Joshua, when they were raiding, Jericho, before they raided Jericho, you had the spies, the 2 spies that hung out in the house of Rahab, if I'm mistaken, Rahab, the harlot, and she made the mention that everybody knows what went down back in Egypt, and everybody feared for their lives, because they got delivered, and you had the 10 plagues and whatnot, if I'm mistaken. That's the plagues basically, and it was a great deliverance. A lot of Egyptians died, and then they disappeared, and now they're back here out of nowhere, about to raid Jericho. That was a great time. But that's why it says in verse 14 that therefore behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that it shall no more be said, the Lord liveth that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But the Lord liveth that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from all the lands where they had driven. And that's heavy. Alright, the scriptures prove that they're real by this precept right here. What is the land of the north? North America. Babylon the Great, United States of America. And that's where the majority of the children of Israel is at. Alright, the majority of the elect were comprised over here in Babylon the Great. That melting pot, that great melting pot. And it goes on to say, and from all the lands whither he had driven them. Yeah, because the elect aren't just scattered here in this place, but they're scattered abroad, the four corners of the earth. You got Akim in Russia, Germany, Africa, South America, Central America, Australia, Europe, Eurasia, basically everywhere. Greenland, who knows? I know there's Akim in the Netherlands and Finland, I think, I'm not sure. Yeah, Akim everywhere. In the Philippines, all over Indonesia and whatnot. So, and from all the lands whither he had driven them, and I will bring them again into the land that I gave unto their fathers. Behold, I will send for many fishers, saith the Lord, and they shall fish them. And after will I send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill and out of the host of the rocks. Yeah, going into that spiritual power. And we prisoners of war. We want a war, man. We want to fight. Alright? We want to get down, and eventually we will when that power comes. But right now, it's a waiting game. Actual prisoners of war, they wait. They wait during a war. Behind enemy forces and behind enemy lines. And that's what we're doing. Man, I can't wait for it to be delivered. Yahushua and the angels coming down, wreak havoc. And you look into these various shows, and you see somebody being held hostage, and then next thing you know, you got the whole squad. They come forth, knocking on your door, going blazing, and they save the hostage. All right, that's what's gonna happen with us. Yahushua and the angels, they're gonna do that rescue mission. A great time, and it's all coming soon. Man, that's your pa. We're prisoners of war. Just saying that. We're prisoners of war, Yahushua, and the angels are gonna rescue us. They're gonna go chariot blazing on the chariot lasers. Getting down these fighter jets and whatnot, getting down the heathen. Only to beam us out. All right, then the fireworks show. You know what I'm talking about, the fireworks show. It's gonna be a hell of a time. But with that being said, I'm gonna end it off right then. Until the next one, I say shalom.